Guy, nimewachwa. That was the exact reaction in my mind the minute I realized that the truck had left without me and I didn't know what to do. So come with me as I tell you all about my day one journey to Samburu. So we left Nairobi at around 6:30. There were a number of people who were actually there. I didn't even realize until we got to Nanyuki that we had two trucks. There's one that I was in and there was another one that we were in. I was in what we call a VIP overland truck. So I was alone, by the way. I didn't necessarily know anyone. And so I was very prepared to make sure that I was time conscious and everything. So how did I end up getting left? So when I got to Sagana, I took breakfast, but the distance between Sagana and Nanyuki and the way my stomach digested food meant that by the time I got into Nanyuki for lunch, I was not as hungry. So, but when I got to Nanyuki, in my mind I was thinking, hey, I am not going to stay in that car. So what did I decide to do? I decided to go out and decide and eat like the simplest thing I could find. So I saw KFC and I was like, I'm not coming all the way to eat from KFC. So I went to Java instead. The biggest regret of my life because my order took 30 minutes. I didn't like what I got. What a disappointment. There was no even mangoes. It's mango season. But anyway, I decided to go back inside even after we were told we only have 40 minutes. So I got to the vehicle on time with my fruits, but when I decided to go back to the mall to get my ice cream, hapo ndo nilipata nimewachwa. And so I freaked out, tried to call whoever I tried to call. So the photographer, and I told the photographer by then nimeachwa, and he was like, get into this car. And that's where why I'm holding my ice cream while looking at it. So we ended up meeting with the other vehicle at a place called Gawanas. I realized that I was not the only person walikuwa ameachwa, by the way. We were a number of people, but lesson learned, mkiambiwa maintain time, hata kama uko peke yako kwa hiyo gari, you better. Because you shall be the example. You shall be the example. Because had I just stayed in that car, I wouldn't have been facing that trauma that I did by just staying in that car. I should have just stayed in that car. Anyway, that thing was on my mind the whole journey. I laughed and then I freaked out. Like my heart was at peace, but my mind was like, aki umeachwa in another county. But anyway, other people actually came via boda, but me didn't do that. And the most surprising thing about this whole journey is I was actually super prepared. Why do I say that? My friend called me the night before, the one who organized this trip, and she was like, yo, I know you're a type A person. You have everything organized, booked. Everything in your mind is perfecto. You are going in a group setup. You need to move from being a choleric to a phlegmatic. Mind you, you're telling someone who Googled everything and ChatGPT'd everything. You see what I'm dressed in? This is what ChatGPT told me to wear. Na iliniambia, make sure you're not wearing any bright colors. Make sure you're wearing like brownish colors, like olive green colors. It told me all about the weather. There's no way it's going to rain. You think about it. Like I had everything in my head. I packed and overpacked and double packed. I don't know even. I packed so many things, but let me tell you, I was prepared for this journey because I was going there with people I didn't know, number one. And number two, the only companion I had in this journey was Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Nisi, Jehovah Shammah. I was partnering with God to make sure that I was prepared for this Valentine trip. So we cross over from Isiolo to Samburu to the place where we're staying at, which is the Umoja Waso camp. Yes, we were camping for this journey. We unloaded our stuff, left the chef there and your PK, and then we went on our way to Mount Ololoko, which there's a security checkpoint. But if you don't have your ID, don't dare. Because those people can actually freak you out. Like, I have never been in a place where I have done nothing wrong, but you meet people who made you feel that for real you're going through security. So I finally get to Mount Ololokwe, which was a beautiful scenery. By the way, they advise you to go there when there's a sunset or a sunrise because that sun was shining. As in, are you seeing my skin? Are you seeing how beautiful that scene is? You will not find me hiking that mountain, but I shall admire it from afar in Jesus' name because there's no way. It was a really beautiful scene. We had a photographer take a lot of photos that I will post later on my Instagram page. This was me trying to do those walk away TikTok whatever's. Maybe I don't even have a TikTok account. I really tried to make sure that I capture the moment here, because I didn't know when is the next time I'm going to come to Marsabit. Then I saw these camels, saw these people, these children who were actually taking care of them, and we had some locals who were also around who sold us jewelry. It was really a unique scene. Then we went back to the checkpoint and we get back to the camp. Now, did they tell you were camping? Yes, you were. So part of this package is that we were going to camp. You were to choose your own tent mate, and then you each given a mattress, a tent, like a camping mattress, and then now the tent is set up for you. All you need to do is choose the tent that you want to stay in. So we chose this one. It was closer to where the main building is. The people who decided they didn't want to camp, they wanted their own rooms, and us, we were like, no, that comes with an additional fee. But me, I was like, I'm here for the experience, and so this is our tent. This is how big it was. It truly surpassed my expectations. I don't know what I was expecting, but definitely not this. So when we arrived there, another thing that we found is that there was no electricity. And I told my tent mate, there's no way. If electricity doesn't come as quick in Nairobi, there's no way it's going to come as quick here when we're in Samburu. Like, we're very far away. So I had my torch. Remember, I was super prepared. I did my research, and I had my torch that we used to shower. The shower was cold, which was necessary, because another thing that I feel like ChatGPT lied is about the weather at night. It told me it would be cold. I was prepared for a cold night. It was a very hot evening. It was super hot. Like, this place is so dry, but it is very windy. So the wind helps you feel the breeze of like the heat. It helps to reduce the heat that comes with it. Another thing was the mosquitoes. There was a lot of mosquitoes. Like, there was no animals, as I had ChatGPT had lied to me, but the mosquitoes were really there. And I had a very strong mosquito repellent that I was ready to fight those mosquitoes with. And so I feel like that also really prepared me. So I feel like I was not really as far off in terms of what to expect in the night. But it was super dusty. Like, you need open shoes. You do not need closed shoes. You do not need them inside your tent. It was truly like a whole camping experience. But this is us closing the night. See you in the next vlog. Good night.